It took me a long time to get to Ernest Hemingway. I always saw him as something of a showboater. All my reservations fell away when I read one of the first things he'd written, a series of 18 vignettes called In Our Time, each word lowercase to distinguish it from the short story collection of the same name. The 18 pieces are about war and bullfighting. Most are no longer than a page long, none cover more than 2 pages. They're remarkable for their literary style. Hemingway had been a journalist, and his news reports focused on the how, what, where of good reporting. He preserved this for In Our Time, creating a writing technique that he himself christened the iceberg style, or the theory of omission. Arguably, however, the same theory had already been discovered by William Strunk Jr. in 1918 and formulated as omit needless words. Strunk, a Cornell University English professor, had written a book called The Elements of Style, which was eventually published by Harcourt in 1920. It's still a classic today, although most readers will know it in the revised 1959 edition supplemented by Elwyn Brooks White. Hemingway's style has been widely imitated, but I know of no one who's succeeded in pulling it off. One of the so-called rules of good writing that doesn't appear in Strunk and White is avoid repeating terms. I think when there's a lot of repetition of terms, we're dealing with a specific voice rather than a universal style. Universal styles can be replicated, voices can't, not without sounding unduly derivative, and no one wants that. Voices repeat themselves, and that's forgivable. It's more than forgivable, it's what voices do. A transferable universal style, however, would have to have as its necessary condition all the features of good prose, and that would include the avoidance of repetition. Now, look at chapter 1 of In Our Time, roughly 100 words, but there's a fair bit of repetition. The word drunk appears 3 times, so does road, and the sentence everyone was drunk might seem like a redundancy given Hemingway's very next sentence. Now, I'm definitely not calling the quality of writing in Our Time into question. Absolutely not. It's one of the greatest pieces of prose ever produced. I'm simply trying to explain why it's been so difficult to reproduce. Because it's not a style in the sense of being a model for all future writing. It's an idiosyncratic voice. And I think that's true of all Hemingway's writing. The end.